What is up, my peeps? This is Cisco with Inside the Dogfight podcast. If you're someone like me that enjoys a lot of nonsense, but you love learning something new every day, then this show is for you. I will be interviewing badass individuals with all types of occupations, careers, hobbies, or even backstories. Everyday people like you and I, worth listening to. We will hear a bit about their journey, perspectives, but most importantly, their struggles and how they are surviving inside the dogfight. What is going on, everybody? This is episode 5 with Inside the Dogfight podcast with me, Cisco Gomez, and today's guest, we have Edwin. Say your last name, brother.
Gomez, man.
Gomez. Oh, that's right. How do I forget that?
Gomez. G-O-M. Easy.
There's a lot of you out there, bro.
Nah, there is. You know, Gomez clan going strong.
Gomez clan, huh? And it's growing stronger, too, man.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot. Y'all reproduce quickly. But Edwin Gomez is like a really, really close friend of mine, and he's like my boy. I've known you for how long, bro?
I think we're going on 3.5, 4 years.
3.5, 4 years, yeah. And like honestly, man, you're a very dope dude. Very dope dude. He works with me at church, but he's such a very talented and smart guy. The reason why we have him here is because he is 1 year away to graduating, right? Getting your bachelor's in what, brother?
I'm 1 year away from getting my bachelor's in mechanical engineering.
There we go. Ooh, I like that. Oh wait, I gotta have my. That is right there. That's what that deserves.
Yeah.
1 year away, bro.
And struggle.
Dude, seriously, I only know 2 people that do what you do, and it's you and then my boy Mike. You know, shout out to Mike. And I actually texted him yesterday. I'm like, hey, y'all do the same thing. And I think y'all do as of right now. You guys are I know he graduated in that.
Yeah, he did.
He graduated in that. So what is it? What type of engineering is it exactly?
So mechanical engineering is a study pretty much of designing and building. But it's everything pretty much. It can be from being a mic, a speaker, a car. It's a diverse field that you're able to go into pretty much like instead of limiting yourself by going into aerospace or going into biomedical. I have the luxury of being broad. So if I want to go aerospace, I can go aerospace. Or if I want to go cars wise, I can go to in that field as well.
Also, mechanical engineer is a very broad, it has a broad spectrum of, there's more opportunity, more choices of what you can be, or at least develop into a career or employment.
Yeah, so there's different sectors. So there's like materials, so like going into like what makes a material strong, how to make it stronger, how to use it. You know, the aerospace, we're just working with airplanes, satellites and rovers, or going into like there's different sections to go into.
Damn, dude. Then and let me ask you this: like, what's so it's mechanical engineer, right?
Yes.
And you're in your third year.
Yes.
So 1 more year and you get your
bachelor's.
Your bachelor's. And it's funny because right before this, you told me that, you know, when we were confirming our, you know, the today's podcast, you know, you told me, dude, like it just kind of hit me that I have 1 more year.
Yeah.
Did it went by fast? Like, did it went by quickly?
It went by quick, to be honest. Like, I remember still struggling with Calc 1, Calc 2, and all those classes that at first I thought were hard, but now like coming into my third year, about to go into my fourth year, I'm just like, it was able to be done. But now it's like looking back, I feel like I just got into school pretty much.
Damn, and you know, even it even felt like that because I remember George too. Like it even when we heard that you had like 1 more year. It hit us like, what? Like, it feels like you just started, dude.
Yeah.
It feels like you just started. So that means that when we met, you had barely begun, like almost in a sense?
When I first started coming to church, I was still in high school. So I was in my last like 2 months of high school.
Oh my God, dude. Wait, how old are you?
20.
Ladies and gentlemen, like time flies. Time freaking flies. And this is a testament, like, and this is one of the things that I know I mentioned it with my cousins. I mentioned it with George, bro, that
this is why I love this, at least me, right? Like, we explored a little bit more with my cousins about the why I started this podcast. And the closest answer I've gotten is it's just feeding my soul. Like, it's feeding my soul in a sense of exploring my creativity, getting to know more people, but also getting to know the people that I already know in a very deeper level, you know, like reaffirming relationships, reestablishing relationships, and relationships that I already have. Like, for example, like with you, George, and my cousins, like there's so much more to explore, man. But I feel like because we live in a city like LA and everything is fast, like everybody's they're doing like 3-4 things at a time minimum. And when we see each other, it's like, what's up? We kind of catch up a little bit.
Just the surface, though.
It's just the surface, exactly. And this is why I love this dude. Like, because for example, with George, like, I didn't know this dude had a podcast. Like, in one sense, he was part of a podcast. There's so much that I explored with him, and I'm looking forward to doing the same thing with you. So this is why I'm enjoying this, man. Like, there's so much more to unpack. I don't really believe that. You're a really close homie. You're a compa too, and you're awesome. Not only do we work together at church, but outside too. Like, you know, there's a friendship that we've developed, and I've learned so much from you. Also, and it's pretty cool how when I look at my circle is it's like my cousin said. He says that he collects people like Pokemon, right? Which I'm never gonna forget that. And ever since he said that, it's like, man, in a way, shape, or form, it's true, because people around me in my circle, I'm full and surrounded by different types of characters, right? I got the very emotional friends, you know, very emotional friends, and I got the type of friends that are very analytical, and I got the friends that are kind of in between. I feel that you're more of an analytical, you know, is that fair to say?
That's fair to say. I feel like I portray more to that spectrum, you know, just because in the field that I'm pursuing, I kind of have to be. Like,
you're gonna have to.
There's no in between for that, because like engineering, you better know your math, you better know your physics. Like, you need to be able to brainstorm on the spot to solve the problem and think about it. You know, so like going into a problem, you can't be too emotional for it, because if you are, like, that's time, and time is money at the end of the day, you know?
Yeah. So it's evolved. Mechanical engineering, it requires a higher level degree of math, right?
Yeah, it does.
Higher level degree of math. Does any type of engineering, you know how you're saying that there's a lot of branches? I'm guessing that they all required a level of math, right? Some more than others?
Yeah, so there's some more than others. So like, I know electrical doesn't have to do some math that we need to do, but I know like mechanical engineering and civil engineering are like brother and sister. Like, we go up through the same courses, just that they do the groundwork, they do try to figure out how a building can stay up and stuff like that.
So civil engineering compared to mechanical engineering?
Yeah, so they're like brother and sister, but we, towards the end of our college run, we split to more specialized in what we're doing, pretty much.
Gotcha. So you kind of explained what mechanical engineering was. What's civil engineer? I know it's not your probably specific area, but
from what I know, what civil is basically working for the city. You know, you have your bridges, you have pipings, you have street signs, all of that civil. That's working on building, on construction, which is big money. Like, civil is sick. Like, at one point I wanted to do civil, but then I read more about it, and I was like, I don't know about that.
What does it have to do with what you told me yesterday?
Civil's a death wish, bro.
You told me something yesterday that becoming a civil engineer is like signing your own death wish or something like that. Explain that a little bit.
It's just, you know, in pretty much for all of engineering, there's the same risk, but like, there's this stigma that we have in school with people who are doing civil. It's like, all right, you're doing civil, like, kudos to you, like, I'm proud of you, but you just sign your death wish, because if you mess up in civil, it's not like like mechanical or electrical. Like, you know, if I mess up on a water bottle, then it's not too much. Like, for the most part, someone's life is not on the line. But in civil, you're talking about roads, bridges, buildings. Like, that's all somebody's life. So if if you mess up there, that's a case of murder, you know?
Yeah. Murder was the case. Well, look, I mean, just thinking about mechanical engineering too, right? Because you can also build robots or stuff like that, right? For like hospitals or equipment, right? Or you said even for the auto industry, right? Wouldn't that also apply to that though? Like, say you design something, you engineer it, blah blah blah, and then it turns out to be faulty, and it's part of a mistake that causes
there's still the risk for like mechanical
factor,
or even
right.
electrical, but like compared to civil, where it's like civil, you're mainly working with people, then that's like where the high risk comes out. And then like for in the automobile industry, most engineers only work on a certain like place of the car, in the front, the back, the middle. But like for civil, you're doing the whole groundwork for it, and then that's the liability. If you're doing the framework, that's a 1-2 pretty much. So it's just like trying to figure out like
yeah. So you're what you do, it's directly, it's so much closer to people's lives. Like it's working a lot closer to people's lives. So therefore the liability it's stronger. And that correlates with I don't know who taught me this, but I know I share this with you guys. And somebody says like you don't get paid. The correlation of how much you get paid does not necessarily correlate with the work you do, right? It just goes with the amount of responsibility that you have. You know, so it's an example of that. So let me ask you this: civil engineers, do they make a little bit more than mechanical?
They tend to make more.
They tend to make, right? Because of liability.
There's liability. Like there's different leads for mechanical that I could get you up there, but in entry level civil is gonna pay you more than entry level mechanical. But the con with it is that getting a job in civil is a little more difficult just because of all the responsibility and the stuff that you have to portray, you know.
I imagine, bro.
So,
I imagine. What let's take it back a little bit. Like, what have you been up to, man? Like, so like, tell people a little bit who you are, what you do, and what you've been up to recently.
So currently, I consider myself a full-time student. I'm taking from 17 to 18 units a semester. Just for those who don't know, like how college works, how the whole system works. 6 units is part-time, 12 is full-time. So I'm doing a bit more just to be able to catch up, because engineering in itself is a long major that sometimes takes from 5 to 6 years to complete.
Gotcha.
My goal is to do it in 4. So it's like the little
those extra credits. Like,
okay. I'm taking, you know.
Add up.
And at the same time, you know, like on the side as a part-time, I was blessed to work with one of our family friends from church who allowed me to be a caretaker for her son as well. So then managing school with a part-time, and then hobbies in between, and then finding then church, and then finding time for like for yourself. So it's like trying to balance the whole But you know, it's been crazy. That's like I feel like coming out of high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I went into like, I had an idea that I wanted to go to college, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. So like, and then it came back to this part that like, I'm pretty sure you knew coming in, like I had severe social and anxiety. Like
when I met you,
I couldn't look at people, couldn't stare at people. You know, like it was just frightening to me. So like, lately I've just been trying to double down, like who am I and what I stand for more, you know?
Gotcha.
So that's what these few years have been, just trying to build myself and like try to create who I want to be, and not how somebody else wants me to be.
Gotcha. So is it fair to say that compared to when I met you to where you're at now, there's a huge difference?
Completely different person, bro.
In who you are, and which I can tell. I mean, obviously being your friend and working with you, like it's obvious to me, and that's that we only see the surface. Yeah, like I don't see the internal battles that you've won, and the new ones that you have, you know. And so Not that you kind of mentioned it. I know I was going to mention it and we were going to talk about it, but it's a perfect segue because you mentioned it. So you do battle a little bit with stuttering, right?
Yeah, I do.
So let's talk about that before we go forward,
Okay,
right?
sounds good.
When were you diagnosed with that, man? Like, I don't even know this story.
So it's crazy. Honestly, like it growing up from like 1 to 4 years old, I never studied a bit. Like it was fluent English, fluent Spanish. And from what my mom tells me, when it started was in preschool. I had a friend who was Armenian.
Okay.
And
shout out to the Armenians out there.
Shout out to them.
I love
Heck
them, man.
yeah. The best food on earth. Nah, but
best coffee too, man. Armenian coffee is
strong. It's
You don't
strong.
mess with Armenian coffee, bro.
Nah, so I had a friend who was Armenian, and he taught me how to speak in his language. So I then went home speaking Armenian, and then as well as English and Spanish. But then going into kinder, I got a friend who was Japanese, and then my friend would teach me Japanese, and then I'd learn Japanese, Armenian, English, and Spanish, and then
Are
from
you
there,
kidding?
nah, but it's true story.
Yeah.
True story.
Wait. So you know a little bit of Armenian? Say something.
Arabos.
What is that?
It's like hello. I'm pretty like what's up like
Yeah.
that.
Arabos.
Yeah.
Arabos.
Yeah.
Am I saying it correct? Arabos.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I know snippets in it.
All right. It was a while back too. It was
Heck,
preschool. Yeah.
And then but so I went home and then I started to stutter, and before it was bad to where I couldn't speak. Like every word I'd have to pause in between. Like I remember growing up, in elementary it was pure speech therapy, and what would suck is that they tried to diagnose me, and they couldn't because there was no real. In reality, I had no real diagnosis for like a speech
Impediment.
What? So what they said was
it why? Because you weren't fitting the necessary criterias, or
since when they test me, I'd pass it, but then when I'd go speak, I started like crazy,
Yeah.
So it's just like in elementary, they didn't know like
what to make of it. Yeah.
So from what they knew is that I could not do my S's, my T's, and my like P's and A's. I just studied nonstop. But then growing up, I started to outgrow it a bit, but it was still there. Like growing up, you know how kids are. They'll bully
pick on you. Yeah.
At the end of the day,
Did that make it worse? Like going to school?
No, I feel like my mom raised me to be the type of kid where it's like, if you mess with me, I would mess with you too.
Love that. Shout out to your mom. I love your mom.
It's great, bro. There's some stories with her, bro. Like, I'll do one quick. It was like first, second grade. There was this kid who would bully me. He'd kick me in the stomach, in the head. He punched me, and I would go home with bruises, and my mom would tell me what happened, and I would be scared to tell her until one day I told her. She was like, okay, the next day when he kicks you, catch it and punch him
in the nuts,
in the face. She was like, if you don't do it, I'm gonna hit you twice as hard.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Nah, true story, man.
No way. What did that do to you? Because I mean, look, let's face it, that's not the best way, right? But it is what sometimes it works, man. That tough love, like that type of just that honesty and that rough, unfiltered, kind of what can I say, like
parenting style.
Yeah, exactly. Like parenting, sometimes it works. Like everybody learns a different way. What did that do to you when you heard that?
Well, at first I was scared, but then that's how I grew up with my brothers.
Yeah,
they're all like 8, 10 years. I think my oldest brother's 40.
Yeah.
And I'm 20, so there's a big gap. So I grew up being like tough with my brothers.
Right.
So it was the first time I took that to school. So then the day came, and then my mom, at that moment, I lived right across the street from school. Walked me to school, waited at the gate, pointed at me, go do it. And then
I can picture your mom doing this.
We were walking down, and then the same thing. He got me in the corner, but before he could kick me, I socked him.
Are you serious?
I felt horrible because his tooth came out, and I was like, "Oh man,
his baby tooth."
Yeah, and then that same day they took us to the office, and the principal came and said, what are you doing? You can't hit him and all that. And then my mom walked in, and then the whole principal was trying to get mad at my mom, but like, you can't do that. And the mom's like, you know what? Lift up your shirt. And it was all the bruises. She was like, he did this to my son. So that's what he deserves. And if this is not stopped, tomorrow is going to be the same thing and the same thing until you do something.
Yep.
So, you know, so it's like, it was that type of backup from my parents growing up.
I get it, man.
Yeah.
Like I think it's a window of what real life is about. You know, like I get it. You know, some people may disagree with the way things were handled, but life, dude, like life is full of bullies.
Yeah, it is.
Let me apologize, people. Like we're right next to, we're indoors.
We are.
But we are right next. We're in the city of Alhambra. Shout out to Alhambra. They're really do. I love the city. But right next to a main street. But yeah, just bear with us. But yeah, going back is, life is full of bullies, man.
It is.
You know what I mean? And sometimes you can negotiate your way out of encounters and out of problems. Sometimes you can be diplomatic, but whether you agree with me or not, just regardless, sometimes you cannot be diplomatic about certain things. Sometimes you cannot negotiate or work with either situations or people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's where you got to be a little bit violent. You got to take things to extreme measures, you know? And so, yeah, that was an example right there.
Yeah.
Gotcha, man.
So then through that, like, I was always raised to, if someone made fun of my stuttering, I'd be like, all right, whatever. You know, I stuttered, but I'd then go back and, you know, just even it out. And then I got to the point where I was respected to a point to where if people did try to, like, make fun of me, like, I'd have backup or I'd make fun back. So, like, just, like, kind of survive that whole, like, middle school, elementary
journey.
And then I didn't get all changed once I got to high school.
When you got out?
Once I got to high school.
When you got into high school?
Yeah, because at that point in high school, I was like, you know what? I like girls, so, you know.
Yeah.
Trying to, like.
Now it's another hurdle now.
Yeah, so it's like trying to intertwine, like, okay, how am I going to do this with my impediment? And then, so I was just like, all right, you know, let me figure out a way. And I just tried to, like, I figured out the point where it was like, I didn't have a stuttering problem. I did, but I didn't. I had a social anxiety problem. You know, like, I'd be terrified of talking to people.
Really?
If you were brand new to me, dude, I'd be terrified. Like, I'd stutter. Like, one of my biggest hurdles was going to order fast food. I hated it.
Really?
They'd be like, oh, what's your name? And I'd be like, and I'd stutter like crazy and be like, oh, at the end it's Edwin.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. And then for the most part, they were
nice about it, understanding.
Nice about it,
yeah.
But like, I used to hate, like, presenting in school for school projects and all that. I'd get all shaky and all that. So then in high school, I started to notice, like, okay, why it's happening, you know. But one of the bad things about figuring that out so soon in life was that to counter that, I tried to portray a personality that it wasn't, you know. So I was like trying to fit in to be like, okay, you know what, I'm not afraid, but then not being able to be cool with yourself as well. So, you know, so it's like,
Gotcha.
It was like split, you know.
Yeah. The solution that you were trying to, the way you were this is you. I feel like even at a young age, right? You have characteristics of an engineer, right? Because you saw a problem. You're like, hey, I'm encountering this problem. Let me dissect why am I having this problem? Because you mentioned, like, hey, when do I get this? When do I start stuttering?
Yeah.
Right? And so you start dissecting this problem. You start calculating, hey, what are the solutions or what can I do? How can I attack this problem? You know? But part of finding a solution is sometimes we're going to explore some solutions that are not ideal or are not the honest ones or are not the specific true solutions, you know, and they may work, you know, for temporary, but not in the long run. Or that specific solution is gonna then just take you to another problem.
Yeah,
you know. So, but I feel that in high school, everybody does that.
No,
though.
yeah, it's
like, you
like
know what I mean? Like
to join
to
your-
fit in, everybody
own
becomes
clique and all that,
everybody and also you're exploring your identity. Like you don't know who you are yet.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's interesting. And I was gonna ask you, like, did it get better during high school or did it get
During
worse?
high school, it got better. Like I was able to stop stuttering to a point where I could talk to people now and present in class. But I remember I still could not go order food.
Really?
I could.
Even till this day?
No,
Or
now
you
I
conquered
can.
it?
Now
Nah,
I
yeah. I'm like, I just saw you ordering like 7 tacos, bro. Like,
Now I can. No, now I can. But
Okay.
I'm in high school. Like I would be terrified to go order food just because I would hate to say my name because I couldn't. I'd stutter like crazy on that name.
really?
So it was just trying to figure it out. Like, okay, during high school, for right now, this works. And it wasn't until like my senior year that I understood, you know what? I got to change something. Because it's not me. Like, it's not what I'm into. Like, growing out of high school, just for those who don't know me, I went to Verdugo Hills High School. It's in the middle of nowhere, you could say. Sunny Tonga, California. We like to call it the most boring city in LA. But it's better. We got the best air quality, no traffic.
Boring, because it's boring, because nobody's
We're
driving
good.
out there.
Hey, but we're good, you know.
Yeah.
But
Nah, that's a prime spot, bro. Like, you're
Nah, it
close to
is.
Pasadena, you're close to Sylmar,
We're
and like
good.
10 minutes here in Burbank.
oh,
Yeah.
we're good there. But yeah. So just trying to, I realized like it's not me, and I need to figure out what Edwin, who he is, pretty much.
Gotcha.
Who is Edwin?
Yeah.
And growing up high school, like I had pure A's and B's. Like, let's go segue to my mom like real quick.
Yeah.
For grades, like I remember Drew and George talked about that. In his era, like his grades weren't that hot, and you can see like his parents were pushing it in that way. But then my thing, it was me looking up to my brother David because he had like straight A's and all that. So I was trying to imitate that and try to
There's pressure on you
go
now.
above it.
Yeah.
And not to mention that, like I'm the youngest one out of 4. So it's like
The expectations, huh?
Yeah.
The youngest one.
because now it's like, okay, you saw each one of their mistakes, so now you gotta not make them and be better than them, you know. So then, one thing, like to this day, I remember this every single day. My mom would say, "You better get straight A's. If you bring home a C, you're getting spanked." And then she had this saying, soon this has to be some merch or something. She said, "Bes son de burros."
Bes son de burros.
Yeah. People
Damn.
don't know it's B's are for donkeys.
Oh my God.
So
What about C's?
I'd get spanked, bro. I wouldn't dare to bring home a seat to my mom.
Damn, I'm not even a burro, dude. I was a C student in high school.
You know? So yeah, so I was just trying to figure out who I want to be and who I am.
Yeah.
So then luckily I had, for my second half of my senior year, I headed off pretty much. I had like 2 classes, and then the rest of them I could stay home or go to do a sport or something. So my brother forced me, because at that time I didn't know what I wanted to do. He said, before you go to college, you're gonna take 7 personality tests and figure out.
Which brother is this?
David. Yeah.
Dude. Did you notice how I'm huge into that? I'm big into that. I made like you guys take that like, several times. I think that is a huge part of trying to figure out who you are. Like they're there for a reason. Take advantage. Take advantage. Take a personality test. So
They're free too.
Yeah. So you took it, and what happened?
I took 7, and it shocked me, because in my head before that I was like, all right, I want to be a dentist or a chiropractor. They don't work a lot and they get paid good in my head, But then I took the test. I'm not kidding you. Each one, mechanical engineering.
Yep. I
Second
get you.
one was aerospace. The third one was civil. And then at that point I was like, it's engineering, or what is that? How am I gonna get into it? And then with my brother, they had for all you students in high school who are out there listening, look, take advantage of your junior colleges, your Glendale Community College, your PCC. It's free classes for high school students. So I went to the Jumpstart program that you took. You could take up to like 3 classes for free. And what I did is I took a 100 class in engineering. I was like, all right, let me try it out. Let me see what engineering, because a 100 classes, pretty much, they're just introducing you to that field. And I took it. Sadly, I fell in love with it, you know?
Oh, wow.
So, like, at that point, I was like, all right, this is what I want to do now.
Yeah.
So then I had so that was to get to there, you know? And going back to the speech, like, it was at that point where I realized, you know, all right, if I'm going to pursue this, I gotta now fix myself too.
Yep.
Like, get prepared to be able to do that.
Yep.
You know, so.
What a beautiful journey.
No, yeah, it's been crazy, you know? It's been long, but it's been sick. Like, I've been able to develop to a way to where I'm happy where I'm at now, you know? So, like, graduating high school, I went and I was like, okay, I need it, because when I registered for college, I went undeclared. And that was, it's good, and, you know, it's a good way to go. But for engineering, that's an impacted major. It's hard to switch into it. So I basically went begging to the engineering office at Cal State LA. For those who go there, let's shout out. You know, we're good.
Yeah.
But basically went begging. I asked them if I could please change. They asked me, "Did you take Calc 1? No. Did you take physics? No." Like, we can't. I was like, please, I'll do anything. Like, like, if I had to go to summer school, I'll go to it. Like, let me join. They're like, okay, join this program for pre-calculus. If you pass it and you do it, then I'll let you in the major.
Oh, my God.
So then it was crazy, because I graduated, I think it was like June 10th or something like that. The program started June 20th.
Oh, man.
So, like, straight out of high school is going back to school, you know. But I did it, you know. I fought through it, and then it was at that point where my stuttering started to change, where it started to get less and less, because I was like, the reason I chose to go to Cal State LA to start with is I wanted to get away. I'm from the Valley, grew up in the Valley, know the Valley. All of my friends went to CSUN. They went to schools by home. It's like, let me go far. And Bradley is not far. It's really like
Relatively far.
Yeah. You know, and let me explore something new. And I met new people, you know, shout out my friend Ethan, all these, like, I ended up discovering, okay, you know what, this is who I am. It's where I feel comfortable. Like, people like me who, like, who are into this type of field, you know?
And I can't stress this enough. A shout out. One of the questions that I have for you is, like, what made you go into this route? And it sounds like taking those personality tests was a huge part, right? And I am such a huge advocate for those things. Whoever's listening, take those personality tests.
Yes.
I'm guessing, look, it's going to help you if you're young, you know, teenager, 18, 19. But I know so many people, dude, in their 20s, even 30s, are still trying to discover themselves. Like, this is a huge tool to help you to discover who you are. They're there for a reason. It's knowledge passed down from, you know, people so much smarter than us that we're able to figure out that there's a pattern to characteristics. There's a pattern to human behavior, and one quality tends to go hand in hand with another quality. You know, and so it's not a all knowing type of thing, but it's gonna help you to discover yourself. That was a huge part to me too. Like, it's not what led me into real estate. It's not what led me into what I do now. But when I took it and I saw where I am, it was a reassurance. Like, I'm exactly where I need to be.
Yeah.
I'm exactly where I need to be. Like, I arrived here independently, you know. It's going to take you a longer time to discover. You can discover who you are independently without any outside help, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's going to take you 3 times, 4 times as long
than telling you
exactly
what you got.
Exactly.
Like, for me, like it's completely different to what you had it, because you had it to where you were already into real estate, getting into it, you know, and it reassured you. In my perspective, you know, given I'm younger, but it was me not knowing who the hell I was at this point, or what I wanted to do. So, like, I put all my faith in this, you know, in these exams, and luckily, like, it works. Like, I'm happy where I'm at. I could truly say that I love engineering.
Oh man,
You know?
and that's what it's all about, man. Like, people take personality tests, take 1, 2, 3, 4. The more, the better, and then just make a chart of what are the employments. Because some of the personality tests will tell you, hey, your personality characteristics will go great with this type of employment, right?
Yeah.
So then highlight all the ones that keep coming up, and it's there for a reason. It's there for a reason. Don't you were one of the lucky ones. It's funny with me. I got entrepreneurship. I got a natural born leader. Project manager, cop, firefighter, but also good with like talking to people, sales, and it's funny, like military service. And when I saw all of that stuff, that's what I wanted to be in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, I went to the Marine Corps. I went to take fire science to the Explorer program. I didn't try and become a cop, to be honest, never. But a lot of things that relate to that. And then I noticed that, hey, wait a minute, I am creative and I am organized, and I like to be, in a sense, like be in control of stuff, of my calendar and stuff like that. And then naturally I started finding like entrepreneurship, and then, it led me to where I am. But then going back to you, it's once you find out exactly what is meant for you, it doesn't matter whether you're struggling with it, you're starting, you're halfway, or you already made it. Yes, you're going to encounter problems, and you're going to feel stressed out and a couple things, right? The pressure of things, but you enjoy
What
the
you're doing.
freaking journey.
Heck yeah.
Because it's what is meant for you, because it fits your character temperament. It fits your character temperament. So it doesn't matter if you're struggling with it. Sometimes I struggle with real estate. Sometimes I'm having a great couple months. But even during my struggles, I'm enjoying what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying what I'm doing, So I'm guessing like that's what you feel.
Thing. So like coming out of that program in the summer, before taking it, I sucked at math. Like, I was horrible at it.
Really?
Like, that was the one class that I got a C in high
way.
school, in algebra 2.
What the heck? But you improved now. You're like my human calculator. Every time I'm like, where's Edwin? Like,
Nah, but it was at that point, and now that I was discovering who I am and what I wanted to do, that I went to that course, to the whole program, and I started to see math, and I started to love it for what it is. Like, I realized, like, math is beautiful. Like, math doesn't matter where you are.
yeah.
It's the same. If I go to Germany,
Universal language.
they have the same numbers we do. Yeah, they have different systems to record it, but at the end of the day, numbers are numbers, So I just started to fall in love with it, and then it was till I got to college that I was like, the level of teaching that they give you is so advanced to where they kind of cater it for you to learn to love it, So like, it was at that point I was like, math is cool, and then I just rode with it, and I am, So like, and it was at that point where my stuttering started to change for the better, So like, at that point I realized, just like I could do math, I should be able to speak too, There should not be a difference. So I went out and I started talking to people in the course, because for the first 2 weeks I just sat in the corner on my laptop and did what I had to do, and then I started to talk to people, make friend groups, and then going out with them to go get lunch at the food court and all that. It just, I was like, you know what? I need to stop being scared of talking to people, scared of socializing. And it was at that turning point I was like, you know what? This is who I am now. Like, I need to finally find what I like. And it was at that point I was like, I love math. I love engineering.
Now you love it?
Yeah, like, for me, I love math. Like, as much pain, suffering, and crying math causes you, I learned to love it.
What calculus are you on, or did you take all of them already?
I'm done with calculus.
You done with calculus?
For right now, I'm done with math.
Damn,
Yeah,
dude.
which is dope, but you're never done with math, because like, it's crazy. So like, they have like physics 1, or they have like calc 3, calc calc 2, but your next courses, like, right now, taking thermodynamics and fluid dynamics, that's all math. That's all. It was like,
you can't go to that before
taking your math. Because
Because
it's all in it, So it's like applying what you learn from the basics.
yeah,
Okay, now putting it into the real world.
the real world. What do you do with all this stuff? Wow.
So, yeah, so like, for the stuttering, like as soon as I got to my college, like, I learned how to control it, and there's still some battles, you know. I thank God, first of all, because through his journey, I got to where I was, and I was able to stop stuttering to a way that I could even film this podcast, you know? So it's like...
No, dude, honestly, shout out to you because it's true. When I met you, I did see that social anxiety, right? And then I remember coming up to you when I would try and talk to you. You would get so nervous and stutter a whole lot. But this is where it also has helped me, and I've learned so much, you know, because I remember meeting you and then noticing that you had this little stutter problem. I remember like going to the internet. I'm like, okay, like what are things that I can do to not cause those flare-ups or whatever, you know? And that's where I noticed like, okay, so it's not only going to help me develop my relationship with you, but also to the next person.
Future.
For the future. There are certain moments where you do, say, for example, like in real estate, where like a realtor is being like a dickhead or whatever, where you do want to come off strong and you want to come off like a very strong realtor, demanding type of stuff, you know, like a very strong presence. But when it comes to like everyday people, it helped me to be more conscious. Like, hey, man, like be more aware the way you come off.
Yeah.
Like be more aware the way you're presenting yourself. Be more aware of your tone of voice. Be more aware with the type of words that you're using. Be more aware with your body language. Be more aware with just your overall persona, and you know, and because you have to be aware. Like you have to be aware, because if you're just one way, and I really hate when I hear this. Oh no, this is what I am. This is what I am. And if you like it, blah blah blah. If you don't like it, well, then that's up to you. That is such an ignorant thing to say, because then that means that you're only gonna be cool with one specific type of people, specific type of character, and. Okay, well, kudos to you, man. You know, and good luck to you when you endeavor
For what you're gonna do
exactly.
with that,
but with me, no, man. Like I want to learn how to get along and build friendships with different types of characters. You know, and so you know, meeting you made me more aware to like, hey, like now I know when I come on to you or when I talk to you, I gotta be more aware with not putting you in a spot or like talking to you a certain way, you know? And so I think it's a beautiful thing when you want to learn, when you want to be conscious
of what, like,
exactly.
Honestly, and it breaks down to body language. You can start to see if, like, for me, like, one of the things that I do is my legs would shake and my hands would like start to like fidget a bit, you know? So like there's like different keys, like even now, like when I encounter people who have the same study that I did, like I'm able to communicate with them now in a way to where they're comfortable enough to speak.
Exactly.
You know, so it's like trying to that whole experience growing up, like it kind of catered it to where I was now able to speak to everybody, not just one line of people. You know.
Perfect, man. Let me ask you this: how far do you think you've come with like the stuttering?
The stutter, I'd say, honestly, I think I'm in the 90s now.
Wow.
You know, like, cause,
and I've seen a change, man. I've seen such an improvement
from what it was. At least in English. In English, I'd say I'm at a 90. You know, like up there. In Spanish, then there's a little drag, just
because you use it less. You speak it less.
But in English, like it got to the point where I cannot speak normally with people.
Yeah.
Which is a blessing to me because I know you knew before. That was never possible, you know? So it's like now it's like I'm understanding, you know, like this is what I was supposed to do normally, but now like I see it as so much of a blessing now, just because I've known how to not live with being able to communicate and now live with it. Like you cherish more in talking to people, trying to get to know them more and try to communicate more.
Such a beautiful thing, huh?
Yeah.
Just like to be able to communicate with someone. But in order to have a very healthy relationship of communication, it takes two.
Yeah, no,
it takes two.
Yeah.
You know, to really size each other up and to learn how to adapt
To one another.
to one another. Exactly. One cool thing is that now you know what it takes. You know the battles of stuttering. You know the battles of someone that you say you're at 90, but what's cool is what's awesome, and it's a blessing in disguise, is that when you meet someone else that probably they're at 70 or they're at 10%, or they're at 30, and they're going through the same struggles that you went through, you're going to be able to understand
where they're coming from,
coming from in a way that we're never going to be able to understand. So that's awesome, dude. And let me ask you this, not to get to preaching, because this is not what it's all about, but did church help you in any way?
Big time, dude.
Yeah.
It was through church, I don't know if you remember this, but I think it was the first retreat. So it was literally, I converted in April. So June, so it was like 2 months after I converted.
You converted.
I got the word from you at the retreat. It was like, through your mouth, you said, God told me, basically, your greatest weakness will convert into
your greatest strength.
Your greatest strength.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it was at that moment, I was like, all right, it's time to change. It's time to work, And then through the end, it just improves and improves to, like, one of the biggest blessings that now when I go to like shops, like when I go to the comic shop, this is an example, I'm able to talk to the owners and, have a cool conversation with them, just talk with them and be chill now. As before, I'd be just go in, get what I need and leave.
Yeah.
So like,
isn't it funny how, with the last episode with George, we were talking about, going into places specific, like him, like, going to like sets, like film sets and stuff like that. And then he'll see no Hispanics there. Right. And it will happen to me too. And it's the sense of insecurity and inferior. How do you say it? How would you say inferiousness? No.
Inferior.
Yeah. Where you feel inferior, right? So, but even though it's mental, only because a problem, and whoever is listening, only because a problem is mental, it doesn't mean it stops being a problem. Only because a problem is in your head, it doesn't make it less true, or it doesn't make it less, existent. Like, only because a problem is in your head, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, or you're not going to struggle with it. Yeah. In fact, I will say, like, most of our problems are in our heads, are in our minds, are mental things. And so, going back to me, it's something that I've overcome a lot, but I'm still overcoming. Yeah. Too, in a way.
The way I look at it, for me, for stuttering, like, the battle's never gonna end. Yeah. It's a never-ending battle, but it's kind of beautiful that it is, because,
there's things that you can do.
There's things you can do with this. Every day that there you go. Every day that you learn more, and that you start to stutter less, and you're winning already. You know. So it's like, it just teaches me, like, work. Like, we're never gonna be perfect. But one of the things that I tell my nephew, and he gets mad at me, because right now he's in middle school, and I tell him, dude, you need to do good in school. You need to work. Like, I'll help you. I'll be your tutor at work. And then he was like, I know, Edwin, but I'm not perfect. I was like, I completely understand you're not perfect, but you better work hard to be. Yep. And then he was like, how? I was like, doesn't matter, bro. Put in the work. You're never gonna be perfect. I get it. I'm not perfect, but I'm gonna work hard every single day to become it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, that's just the lifestyle that I've been living now. Like, do your part, work, study, stay up late. I was telling you earlier that, like, last night after church, I got home and I had to start my final that was due today at 8 in the morning. But I got home with a headache and I was tired. So I slept till like 3 a.m. and then woke up and then started to work on it. But it's like, it takes dedication to the point where you need to want what you have. You need, if for those of you who are going to school for the first year, second year, or still in high school, like, if you're going to college, have a good idea of what you want to do in life. Because it's an investment. One of the greatest quotes I hear is, like, going to school, you're investing in yourself. And when you invest in yourself, you're investing in your mind. And that's something that no one will ever
take away.
be able to take from you.
Yeah.
Whether it costs you $40,000 a year, or in my case $6,000 a year, that's an investment that will never be taken with you, and that's just gonna add to your experience of life. You know.
I went to college. I didn't finish, because back then, if what I had done things differently, absolutely. And I remember my cousin said one thing that I'm like, damn, I didn't see college that way. You know, he's like, it's not just necessarily the knowledge, the books, right, that you're gonna go learn. He's like, for me, it was the networking that you're going to develop. He's like, think about this. You're going to be surrounding and networking with people that are trying to do what you're doing. And you may not, after graduating, you may not get into that entry-level job, but one of them did. And then now they're going to be able to pull you in. And the world is not about what you know and your abilities and working hard or your talent. The world, like success in the world, it's like a cocktail of having a bunch of things. It's the cocktail of learning, being knowledgeable, having the experience, being disciplined, having talent, but working hard, surrounding yourself with like the right circle. But at the same time, it's like, can you network? Like, do people like you? You know what I mean? Like, do people like you? And then that way they're going to be able to pull you in. It's not what you know, it's who you know and how you know them. Yeah. So, and when he told me that, I was like, dude, I never saw college that way. Yeah. If I would have seen college that way, I think I would have stayed.
Nah, but it's too, like, right now with my friends at school, and even with my peers, like, because like, I don't want to discourage anyone who's thinking about going into engineering. You can do it. If I can do it, sucking at math and not knowing what a vector was, like, pretty sure y'all can do it too. But engineering is not for the faint of heart. Like, there was friends that I had in the first semester. By the second semester, they weren't there no more. Damn. And it's going more to where every college is having you as a pre-major now. So where, in my case, if you can't pass Calc 1 and physics and chemistry, you're not going to get in. So you're like halfway in, So it's like there's gateways now because it's impacted. Like you're working with people's lives now. So like for the network, like I'm able to build it to where the third years, fourth years, the upperclassmen now, we all know each other to a point where we're all cool together. So like if one person has an insight or something, they'll let everyone know and then go to it. If someone
it's a collective.
So it's just trying to work together, because at the end of the day, we're going into the same field. Whether it be aerospace or you're going to go into biomechanics, you're going into that same field. So we work together to help each other out, because in the future, you don't know if that person is the next project manager for NASA, and he gets you in, or if she gets you in. First of all, if you're a female, if you're a girl out there, and you're thinking about doing engineering, please listen to me. Do it.
There's not a lot, huh?
Completely do it. There's not that many.
There's a shortage.
The shortage.
Yeah.
And I told this to Vanessa's sister, because she's looking into doing it. For all you guys don't know, Vanessa's my girlfriend.
Shout out. She told you, huh?
Nah.
She told you, you better mention me.
You better mention me. Nah. So, and I told her, I was like, if you're really interested, do it.
Yeah.
So I had her do what I did. I had her take different personality tests. Was she mad at me taking them? Yes. But did she learn something new? She did. And now she wants to do aerospace engineering.
Wow. And
I'm pushing her, like, do it. And
so does she have that character to become that?
She does. Like, that's her number one job. It's aerospace, mechanical design. I think it was like business, like something, but business managing.
Business management, yeah. She should take advantage, because, there's a reason why there's a shortage of females in that sector. It's just, it's known that guys tend to enjoy working with things and objects more, and then women tend to enjoy working with people. more. It's just in our nature, but that does not mean that's just the general consensus. The majority of people, but that doesn't mean that there's a small percentage, just like there's male nurses, you know what I mean, and stuff like that.
So I tell you, like, apply it. First, I sat down, like, if you really want this, and I explained it to her, gave her examples.
Oh, she become a rock star.
Yeah, I told her, like, do it, and she was like, okay, but how am I gonna pay for it? I was like, girl, you don't gotta worry about that.
Yeah,
the government got you. There's companies who will sponsor you just because you're a girl going into engineering.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Take advantage of it.
Yeah.
So like, and going back to like, if girls can do it, do girls. The girls in my school who are taking engineering, mad respect to them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like, they're smarter and they're set better than all of the guys.
Yeah,
they're way advanced compared to us.
Yeah,
like, I know a few who in their third year have already secured a job.
Damn.
So if you're feeling out to, like, do it.
Get into it.
If you think you might like it, if you think you're into it, try it.
But take a personality quiz first.
Yeah, take your test first of all. They're free, so.
Yeah, because you might get something else. You might get like veterinarian or something like that, working with animals. All right, let me ask you this. I have like a series of questions here for you. All right. So what was your first step? And because I feel like we kind of explore that a little bit, but just more in more detail. Like, what was your first step, and what was the biggest dogfight beginning? So what was your first step into, like, once you found out, okay, this is
what I want.
This is what I want.
The first hurdle was, at that point, it was, okay, trying to convert that mindset now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, at that point, I told myself, I can no longer be a child. I can no longer be a little kid like it was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I need to shift and think about my future for my future generation. So at that point, I was like, okay, go to GCC, take that course. If you like it, go balls hard to engineering.
What's GCC?
Glendale.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
Community college. So, and then it's free. So I took it, loved it, fell in love with it. Bam.
So that's what you recommend, like, people that are entertaining with the idea, like,
if you're in high school, it's free.
Yeah.
And even if you're not, let's say you're 20, 30 years old, there's some classmates we have who are like 40, 50 years old, still going to school. It's still possible, So like, go to it. You never know if you're gonna fall in love with it
unless you try it.
And it's, for the most part, it's free. And if not, at JCs with our junior colleges, they're $40 per unit. So in total, it's like $120.
Yeah.
$160. That's max.
Yeah. So you see a diverse of ages there. Like,
Yeah.
Damn, that's beautiful, man. That's awesome.
That was the first start of me, like, trying to transition into what I got. And then now, the biggest dogfight was my past haunted me. Not like people, but going into my first semester, I started to drift, like, going more deep. I started to drift more into my old habits of getting close to people who weren't good for me, but just because I was used to being around those type of people, I saw a dip. I was like, okay, this has to change. So, like, and it sucked because, like,
your circle matters.
Yeah. So, like, at that point, I was like, because from my friends who I have right now, they're the friends that I had during the summer program. But during the first semester, second semester, I kind of separated and went with these other guys.
Yep.
And I know it's like, it's not me. Like, I'm converting myself back to what I was.
Yep.
Which wasn't myself, So, like, that was my biggest dog. I was like, and then at that point, I was like, I told them, I was like, look, guys, love you guys. You guys are sick. You guys are dope. I can't be friends with you guys anymore. They were
You
like,
told them? You actually told them?
I was like, I can't. And they were like, why? And at that point, the whole group was starting to split. One was leaving. And I was like, I can't, just because I'm not. It's not me, you know? So, like,
this is not me anymore.
Yeah, so, like, luckily they were understanding to a bit, and we split. And luckily the friend group that I had from the summer welcomed me back, you know? And then, which I'm now, like, now I love it. Like, I'm where I need to be. So, like, my biggest dogfight was your past haunting you again, which is scary.
Your old habits, your old type of circle, environment.
They all come back.
What you feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy? And people need to understand this. I've gone to a level where I understand this, but I need a constant reminder. So when I mean people, it's like, I mean all of us. Like, I'm a people, I see life as a series of checkpoints. All right, life is a series of checkpoints, and only because a friend or a relationship was good enough for that specific checkpoint, it doesn't mean that they're going to be good for the next checkpoint.
Yeah.
You know, so we're evolving. Think about this. We're evolving who we are in nature, right? Life is all about improving checkpoints, improving, going to the next level, improving yourself, improving your mental health, improving your spiritual health, improving your physical health, improving overall who you are, what you know. So why, and it's probably going to sound horrible, why won't we improve our circle? We need to improve our friendships. We need to improve our relationships. We need to improve. And it's a beautiful thing when you find people, for example, like you and the people that have, a lot of the people that I have around me, I know, like, hey, man, we're in this checkpoint together, but I know we still got a lot more checkpoints to go to because you're also striving. You're also trying to thrive in life. You're also trying to improve in life, right? So then you can help each other up. Like you can improve as you go.
Yeah.
But a lot of times we get stuck. We're trying to improve ourselves, but the friendships that we have, you know, like because they're comfortable, and we tend to get stuck with them.
Yeah.
And they're not necessarily improving at the same rate that you are, or they don't want to improve at all. And that's when they become, instead of helping you, it becomes unhealthy.
To harm you.
To harm you, exactly.
One of the things that at that point that changed me was, I remember one day you preached, and apart from that, you spoke to me. You were like, "Tell me who you're with, and I'm gonna tell you who you are." So at that point,
which is so known, it's very common.
That's the most common thing. And I was like, okay, who am I with? And I realized, like, okay, this is not where I want to be now. So I need to get with who I need to find people who want to go to the level that I want to go.
Exactly.
And strive with them.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah, man. What is your favorite part and your least favorite part right now
Of it.
of engineering?
Damn. There's a lot.
There's a lot of favorite or least.
No, there's a lot of least. So I would say my favorite part of engineering is, thankfully, I've been able to work on different projects. My favorite part is designing that project on a computer, on CAD software, but then seeing it come to life. Like, I think that's one of the best feelings you can get. Like, if you design, it could be a box or a stamp, like a Game Boy or a phone, but you see it come to life from what you created. Like, that's the best feeling you can have. Like, for me, like, it just, it's a feeling of accomplishment, a feeling of gratitude, just because I was like, you know, I'm on the right path, what I want, you know?
Isn't it such a, it's something wired in us to see, it feels such an accomplishment to see putting in a work on something and not seeing it come to life, and then seeing it come to life finally. You know, I feel like it's the same. It's this. It may be the same that what gardeners feel.
Yeah.
You know, when they're like taking care of the seeds, watering it, taking care of it, giving them the vitamins, and then finally they're seeing the flower bloom. You know, it takes time, and it's the same thing almost in everything. You know, like this podcast, like I've had this idea for 5 years, and then now seeing it take shape and then seeing it out there, it's such a feeling of an accomplishment, you know? Like, you know, obviously people know that I'm Christian and we're Christian and believe that we were made under the same image of our creator, God, you know? And then God is our creator.
Yeah.
If there's one characteristic, is he's a creator. He creates things, you know? And that's what I feel that everybody has. Like, we all have that in us to create, the sense to create something from nothing.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's a feeling of accomplishment for you.
I think George said it best. Shout out to George, you know.
You found a way in.
Had to fill it in a bit. But he said it best, like, your creation is your baby. Yeah. You know, once you see that be born, like, that feeling that you get from your first podcast, from my first CAD design that came to life, you don't lose it. Like, it's there. And
this I have done. With my hands.
And it's like, now, okay, I did this. Now I want more. Yeah. I want to improve it. I want to get better, get faster, and just improve on it. So, like, I think for my part, that's my most favorite thing about engineering.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And your least? There's a lot. People need to understand that you can hate a lot of things about what you do, but it doesn't mean you don't love it. You stop loving it.
Yeah. I'll be honest. The workload is crazy.
Really?
The workload is crazy. There's two ways. There's a way if you're being honest with yourself and doing all the work that they give you to practice and all that, then the workload is crazy. If not, then it's still hard, but it's not as bad. But if you truly want to learn it and understand it, and if you're like me, who needs to be able to do something first to learn it, then it gets a lot. Like it all stacks up. Like one of the things through quarantine that I learned was that I don't learn from lectures. I can't learn from someone speaking to me. I work better not listening to their lecture and just reading the book and doing it myself.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't see. I'm more lecture. I passed my real estate exam not by reading. I didn't even read a single book, bro. It's just all lectures.
Lecture?
And that's that I couldn't be there in person, but I would have preferred to be there in person, just take notes and listening to someone.
Like,
but you're the opposite.
I still learn from lectures, but I just could.
Right.
But I learn more when I'm in my habitat, just doing the work. But then that's also a con to myself because the workload, like, there's nights, that I don't sleep like 3, 4 in the morning, and then wake up at 8 again. So just trying to manage the whole workload you got. I'd say one more thing that's kind of tough about engineering that I don't like too much is there's no stigma behind of it. Like
what's the stigma behind it?
It's just like most people, you go into engineering, it's just like they portray you as being too analytical that you can't connect on
with
other
people.
ways. Yeah.
Like nerds.
Yeah, basically. At the end of the day, hey,
it's called nerds, bro.
No, this is that. So like, that's one thing, and I think the last one that's difficult that it's tough is the professors.
Really?
As much as I love some professors, I'm gonna be honest with you, you're never gonna find a sane physics teacher. You're never gonna find it. I mean, honestly, I took physics. There's no way. Like, I've tutored with different professors, and
they're all weird, huh? They gotta be weird.
it's not even weird. It's that they're so smart that they can't convey their teaching to an expense. But at the same time, I'm the same way now, to where I can't convey what I'm doing to someone who is not learning it. So it's like, now that you have the knowledge,
why do you think that is? Is it because it's so complex, or
I think to an extent it's the complexity that it is that in my eyes, like, that is simple, but somebody else is barely starting to, like, whoa, like that's my first biggest hurdle,
Wow.
So
even when you think you're in a way explaining it in the most simplistic form,
you're not.
It's still beyond somebody, so like me, like a regular comprehension.
Yeah. So like one of the things was one of my physics professors. He was great. Like, he was a cool person. He explained physics right, but during his lectures, he didn't drift off into different sections, and he'd be like, "Oh, there's different from the sun and how it turns and all that, and how it affects everything." I was like, and he just lost you. And then it's like a lot of the times the professors are your best friends. For me, they're sick. I love each one of my professors, but at the same time, in my eyes, I need to learn from the book, just because a lot of the times there's some professors who won't stop for you. They won't explain it in simple terms,
Yeah, I can see that, because then, again, and hate to use this stigma, they tend to be very analytical. They don't. They're kind of heartless. You either keep up or you don't.
You fall behind.
Yeah, I'm sure that in a way, every professor out there for any type of career, they see themselves as the gatekeepers.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, either you keep up, or if you can keep up, or I'll give you a hand here and there. But if you can't keep up, or for A or B or Z, it's not meant for you, buddy.
No, yeah, and they tell you, like, in the beginning they would tell you that, but the cool thing is that whoever wants to learn from a professor is gonna learn.
Yeah.
They're mandated to hold at least 2 hours of office hours. So go in one-on-one. Nobody goes to them. I don't go
Yeah.
to them, but that's because I don't learn from like, you know?
Right.
But you go to them and they'll teach you one-on-one. But at the end of the day, whether you learn from them or not, they still get paid.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like to them, especially if they have tenure, they can't get fired. You know, so it's like whether you show up or not, they get paid. So it's more self motivation. So like that kind of added to my first struggle as well, where now it's you in charge. You're in charge of your own learning now.
I'm so glad I'm a realtor, bro. Like, honestly, because I am not intelligent by any stretch of the imagination. And well, we have our struggles and things, but it's just a completely different level, you know. But damn, yeah, that is definitely not for me. Let me ask you this: so how has it changed during the pandemic? I know you said you were gonna, when I kind of gave you a blueprint of what I was gonna ask you, you said this one was a lot.
Everything changed.
Everything changed,
dude. To start off, before the pandemic, I liked lectures.
I hate them.
I hate them now. You know, but I'm pretty sure just because of the circumstances where I am right now, I just don't like them because it's all online. It's all either recorded or through Zoom, but Zoom is faulty sometimes. So one of the things that now is, before it was you going to school and you, while you're at school, do the work. But now you're at home, dude. Your bed's 5 feet away from you.
Yep.
You know, like
distraction, calling your name.
The pressure is all on you. Like my laptop with COD is on there, ready to play. But I got class. It's like at this point, it was okay. Now
Call of Duty's there.
Test. Now it's like, here comes the test. It's like, I think this semester tested me. Do you really want to do this? You know, it tested me. Edwin, do you want to be an engineer? Because this is what it's going to take.
Do you think because of this year, then, a lot more people are going to drop out?
Sadly, I think they are, dude.
Right?
Honestly,
because they probably would have made it if everything was back to normal
in person. Yeah.
But because now they're at home, distractions. Now they need another level of discipline.
Yeah.
You know, to really make a schedule and discipline themselves to do what they have to do. A lot of them, let's face it, don't have that.
No, I remember last year we were discussing like, poor of the seniors who graduated because they didn't get to walk stage. For me, I was like, all right, it's fine. It's high school. Like I felt bad, but not too much. What I felt worse is that they're in their first semester of college. They're coming with their high school habits, slacking off and all that. Not going into college where you're self-dependent. That's where I started. You know, that's when I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Like it sucks. You know.
Yeah,
and
be timing.
It is.
It's
horrible timing.
You're at least you're on your third year, right?
Where I knew a bit of what it took me to be able to pass. You know.
Damn, dude. And all right, where do you see yourself going? What's your end goal here?
There's a lot. Well, if we're going field-wise, engineering, my end goal would be to become a project engineer.
Project engineer?
Yeah. So it's like leading your team, creating the project, having your own set of engineers beneath you, and managing them to be able to complete a project. That's my end goal. Like one of the things that I tell my girlfriend a lot and my family is like, I have two pretty hands to be working with machines. You know, so it's like my goal is to lead, and I want, you know, what I don't want to do is like we're in the like I don't mind working in the field. Like I tell them my hands might be pretty and I might not like it, but that's the best work that you've ever seen. You know, but I prefer to be leading a group, caddying it up online on the software, and you know, trying to complete something together instead of being under someone and completing it. You know?
But you're gonna have to.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to go through it.
Through my brighter
right?
passage, I'm gonna have to start from the bottom.
Yeah.
Because
then what type of
leader would you be?
Yeah,
if you didn't go through this, you know.
Yeah, you're not gonna have any validation.
Nah, so like for me, that's my end goal, to be able to be a project engineer in the field though.
What type of field? Like
that's
you don't know yet?
No, I do. Honestly, if you're out there thinking about engineering and you live in LA County, you are in the mecca of engineering.
LA, man. That's what I'm telling people. LA, dude.
It's the mecca for engineering.
Yeah.
You go to the Valley, dude, you have so many companies who are willing to hire college graduates. Because most graduates go to the big companies. But there's these small shops, 100 employees, 200 employees that are paying good still, but they're overlooked. This is no matter what is an engineer in LA, what I like to say, yes, there's competition, but there's so many jobs available. And at this time, if this sounds harsh, I'm sorry, but the boomers who were in there, as we call them,
are on the way out.
They're on the way out. Yeah, they're retiring.
Just like in real estate too, same thing.
So it's the time to go into it, be that next generation to change the world. So I feel right now what I'm really into is biomechanics. So I have the definition just because for those of you who don't know.
Oh, he coming ready. He coming in hot.
So biomechanics is the study of mechanical laws relating to the movement or structure of living organisms.
Damn.
So it's using technology, using engineering to help. That's my angle. I want to make the pacemaker of the future. I want to make that bionic arm that gives somebody a shot to play baseball again. I want, I remember we discussed it before. I want to use technology to its fullest ability to help life. I don't want people to be afraid of technology taking over them or being the new evil person in the world, but I want to bring them together and use it to better our lives and to better the world.
I feel like you being an engineer, you see things in a different way. You see technology in a different way. This takes us to that. What's the documentary?
The Social Dilemma.
The Social Dilemma. So you watched it, and what did you feel about it? You think it's a stretch? Like you're selling it too much?
They, from my opinion, they pushed it to an extreme. I'd say the threat is there, but in my eyes, it was for me, it was a casualty of war.
Right.
Right. That's what
a casualty of improvement, a casualty of Earth evolving, right?
Yeah.
There's always a casualty whenever we see humanity and society take a huge step forward, right? When we see the Industrial Revolution. Yeah. I'm sure there was plenty of casualties to that, the Industrial Revolution, but we're just not, we're probably not aware of it. We don't know about it. And then we're not seeing it. We didn't live it. We didn't see it, And let's talk about our generation right now. What has been one of the, if we talk, I'm 32, right? Your age too. What has been the biggest development so far as a society? It's freaking
social media.
Yeah, it's social media. It's social media. It's the internet. It's the web.
Yeah.
And so we're seeing the casualties of that development. We're seeing the casualties of that step forward, which is going to happen. But I remember talking to you and you said when we were discussing the social dilemma, you were telling me we're going to find a way to balance it out. We're going to find a way to overcome it, and I agree with you. My only concern is, hey, compared to the other things like the Industrial Revolution and stuff like that, this is growing at such a rapid rate that we haven't seen before. So my only concern is, okay, well, is it growing at a rate so fast that we're not going to be able to overcome it, and because say if you have 10 years, right, from the next step forward, and we have 10 years to overcome it, as opposed to now, it's doubling up, everything, dude. The phones, the capacity, the internet speeds, everything is doubling up every year. It's improving at such a rate that, man, is it like a car that's going too fast now, and at some point
you can't catch up.
You can't catch up.
The way that I look at it is in the past 10 years.
Is it too fast for our own good? Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. For me, the way I see it is increasing at a rapid rate. But one of the other things that kind of goes underlooked is so is humankind, so is society. As besides we're growing at such a rapid rate, we were able to develop a vaccine for a virus in less than a year.
Which I am so proud of them. Like, honestly,
Like,
whether you agree with it or not, do you? We're all entitled, but I am so proud of what we're able to accomplish like with that vaccine.
So I feel even though it's going at such a rapid rate, so are we. It may not be the same. It's tremendously less, but we're staying at a point to where we're able to catch up in the future. We're able to fight back. That's where I see it, to where we're developing to a point to where it's like they go started and they're on the 50-yard line, but we're like on the 20, 30, just trying to battle back.
No, it's definitely it's gonna be really interesting how we adapt. It's definitely gonna be really interesting because there definitely is a blowback to the technology and social media. I mean, some of it was saying like the suicide rates has never been higher, right? And I feel like a lot of it is due to social media. Everything, every story, everything we put, it's our best foot forward. It's our best image. So we're comparing ourselves to somebody's best foot forward and even fake image. And we're comparing it to us, and that has to have a psychological negative effect.
Definitely,
right? But yeah, it would definitely be interesting how we move forward. I am hopeful. I am like you, where I am hopeful about society. I'm not the type to be cynical, but I am a realist. I am aware of like the problems and the blowback, But it will be definitely interesting how we move forward, especially the integration of technology and software engineering, and
That's
to with biological or with our biology, right? And your girlfriend, shout out to Vanessa, she's studying biology. Yeah. So you guys better, I don't know, you guys probably gonna build cyborg, bro.
Yeah, we'll see. It's crazy because like now it's to a point to where we all know that we're on a time limit for society. Like we know whether you agree or not, there's something wrong with the globe.
Right.
There's pollution in the air and all that.
Yeah.
Not to mention we have the internet that's taking effect. But I feel like I want to use the internet. I want to use that to put the word out there for more people. There's what surprised me is that in growing up in high school, there's not enough people telling you of opportunities. No one told me in high school what
it's
an
a
engineer
freaking
was.
jungle, dude.
Yeah,
that's why. Like,
no one told me what a mechanical engineer was. How to work on a car. If we're able to invest in the education platform that we have and put more money into that, put more resources, as much as it's going to hurt our taxes a bit, but in the future,
it's going to make us money.
We're going to see the benefit. Like, I'm sorry, whether you agree with Gen Z or not, their future with the internet, because they have all the access.
Agree with what?
With Generation Z.
Oh, Generation Z. Yeah.
The new generation that, they have their cons and pros, but whether we like it or not, they have information at their fingertips since they've been born. Since they've been born.
Yeah.
That generation is going to end up being one of the smartest generations.
I hope so, man.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I think it is. So
do you think internet has made people smarter?
Certain people, yeah. Certain people.
Because to believe that, you have to believe that internet has made us smarter.
Which I feel for most people it does. Because now there's no need to drive to the library, pick up a book and read it, search up the title. You have thousands of books at your fingertips. Just like anything, it can be abused. Like one of the biggest scandals right now going on in school is cheating. You're at home. You have the internet. There's no camera for you to do your exams. Like, you can cheat. But at the end of the day, are you going to sacrifice your integrity to do that? So it's like,
yes.
I don't know.
Most people, I guess, their answer will be yes.
Some people.
Yeah.
Some people. But I'm hopeful that
optimistic
that, I feel like in a few years, we're going to see the benefit of the internet. Because at the end of the day, the generation born, I say from 2007 and onwards, once they graduate and once they go to school, that's when we're going to see whether the internet has helped or harmed us.
Yeah. You know, it's funny how doesn't matter where we're talking about Call of Duty, we're talking about the internet, social media. At the end of the day, even like drugs, right? And even like alcohol, all this stuff, anything that you can abuse. At the end of the day, it starts with parenting.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it starts with parenting, you know? And it all starts at home. And, okay, you got shit parenting. Okay, well, now the responsibility is on you. Our responsibility is on you, you know, if you have an addictive personality, then stay away, you know?
Yeah.
Stay away and be very cautious the way you move forward. And be conscious to, hey, are you developing an addiction? You know? And so I think that the social dilemma, yeah, it probably they put their own salsa into it, and you know, with the sound effects and you know,
the
playing
whole, like,
D minor chords, like everything's gonna
Yeah.
sound more dramatic than it is. But I think it's also needed. I see it as, you know, if you see society as a collective organism, just like ants, right? It's part of it. It's something that's at least, because it became popular. A lot of people,
yeah.
you know, will talk about it. And I think it sparked a conversation that's needed, a conversation that we need to have.
Yeah.
And really see like, hey, man, like, are these apps, are these social medias, is Facebook getting out of hand? You know? And it's crazy because just recently, a couple of days, I saw an article where, I don't know specifically what it was, but it's saying that a government of certain states got together and they wanted Facebook to
Let go of some of the companies
yes,
that they bought out, which
yes,
is true. Like,
yes, to kind of divide itself a little bit,
yeah,
you know?
because in reality, Facebook is a modern monopoly. They
Dude, they bought Instagram, dude.
They bought Instagram. They bought. I think
Those are the two biggest players right now.
I think it was either them. I think it was them who bought out Snapchat too.
Snapchat?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was it.
Well, I know that they own also, what was it? What's that? It's like a messaging app that you can message like people out of.
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp. So I know they own WhatsApp
They
and
own
Instagram.
They own some of the biggest companies, you know. So pretty much they're the modern monopoly, but Facebook is defending themselves, saying, "Well, when we bought them, we went to you guys, and the government said that it was okay to do it. So now, how are you gonna come back and say no?"
Well, see, this is where, because no company has ever been this big.
Yeah.
Also, Facebook has to realize that, and it sucks, right? I mean, it's a really important argument. It's a really important conversation, and I am optimistic like you that we're going to figure it out. But part of figuring things out is going back on a specific decision.
Going to the root of the problem.
Yeah,
you know?
see, here it is. So it says Facebook hit with massive antitrust lawsuit from 46 states. Holy crap.
That's almost the entire union.
A huge collection of states filed an antitrust lawsuit Wednesday accusing Facebook of suppressing its competition through monopolistic business practices. 48 attorney general across 48 states, the territory of Guam and the District of Columbia are behind the lawsuit, with only South Dakota, South Carolina, Alabama, and Georgia declining to join. Dang, what's up with South Dakota and Carolina?
They took forever to count.
You see, the lawsuit, which looks at Facebook's actions throughout the company history, alleges that the company bought competitors illegally and in a predatory manner in order to grow and preserve its market power. The suit cites of Facebook acquisitions of Instagram and WhatsApp as prominent examples. Yeah, dude, I don't know. Look, regarding this, it's not shocking. Like, it's not shocking. There's probably a way to coerce, you know, that Facebook coerce like these other apps and these other competitors into joining them. And I'm only saying this because there's this website that I followed and I loved. It's called The Chive, right? And I don't know their specific struggle right now, but they were in a huge fight with Facebook, you know, and because like I don't know specifics, so I'm starting, you know, disclaimer. But they're in a huge fight with Facebook because I don't know why, but then Facebook tried to shut them down. They're like, okay, well, we're going to pull our ads. We're going to, and then they correlate with Google, you know? So it's like, okay, you guys don't want to, you know, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what the beef was, but it's like they wanted to completely pull the rug under them.
Yeah.
And they now have to. I remember sending it, because at one point, like I was what do you call it? Like I was paying a month. What do you call it? Subscribing. And they reached out to everybody. They're like, we got to be self-sustaining now. Like,
Damn.
they literally, they don't have no ad power. Because how big they are.
Yeah.
You know? And at the end of the day, that's monopoly.
It is like, it's the modern day monopoly. But like, I'm sure that in the coming years that we're going to be able to get to the root of the problem, whether
Right.
Facebook likes it or not.
Right.
You know, it sucks because it like, no one, like we said, like, it grew at such a rapid pace that now we're starting to catch up to it. You know, so I'm trying to shut it back down. But,
Yeah, exactly. And then in that process, the governments and laws, they're gonna have to go back and be like, well, you know what? I know we said yes, but now we're seeing the consequences of saying yes, and now we're gonna say no.
Say no, yeah.
But then legally, that's just a whole other ball game, dude.
It's gonna be a few years. I say 2-3 years until we get a definite answer to it. But I feel for the future, like, I don't see Facebook continuing to be the bigger monopoly. I feel they have to
some sort of government oversight. But
that's all.
I'm such like against government oversight. Like, you know, just being Republican, you think less government. But they're thinking of Facebook, man.
That's the thing.
I don't know. It's
like,
gotten so huge that I'm like,
that's where the whole like controversy comes. Cause it's like, in reality, like, from both spectrums, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, we don't like people in our stuff, you know. But at the end of the day, Facebook knows every single thing about you.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, they know where you live, what you like,
data.
What's your favorite
It's the
food.
new gold mine.
They know everything about you.
Yeah.
But there has to be someone to interfere.
Yeah.
You know, to stop that.
Yeah.
To a point to where they're not controlling you no more.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy, dude. Okay, so now where you're at right now, what is your biggest dogfight, brother? Bringing it back to engineering.
My biggest dogfight right now, honestly, it's self-motivating yourself. That's my biggest one. Just because with the whole quarantine that we've been living, you know, like I said, you have your bed right there. I have my TVs right next to my face, you know, so it's like
Netflix, Hulu,
it's all
HBO,
there.
Disney,
So it's just like
Mandalorian.
like my biggest like dogfight right now is like, okay, I need to stop procrastinating.
Yeah.
Like last night I procrastinated for a final. Luckily, it turned out good and we passed with good colors, but at the end of the day, I need to stop putting myself in situations where I stress myself out. So it's like trying to self-motivate myself to get work done earlier. Trying to have it's a skill you learn though. You know, to do the work above you. You know?
Absolutely.
Because before I'd be able to do it at school.
Right.
But now you're at home.
It's easier. I know.
At school, I would go to the library and just chill there with friends, do my work, have study groups. At home, you have no one.
Exactly.
If you're like me,
the environment helps you to stay focused. You know,
no one in at least in my family understands like to an extent of what I'm learning or what I'm doing. So I can't really ask for help to an extent. So then going back to it's like, all right, you need to talk to your peers, network, go online, and just focus on yourself. You know, so that's my biggest
dogfight.
Let
me ask you, how many hours do you like study? Do you dedicate to school and everything a day?
So my plan was I would dedicate when I get home around like 5-6, from like 6 to 12, 6 to 10, 6 to 12. But then there'd be days where it turned into like 8 to 2 or 10 to 4, you know? But one thing that I stuck through this semester was weekends are off. Weekends, I'm leaving it to myself to relax, to just do what I want to do. You know, like not like if I had to get some errands done, do it on the weekends, go wash on the weekends, go shop on the weekends, you know?
Right.
So,
no, it's healthy. So
that's one of the things like that I've been doing pretty much, that I need to figure out like pretty much how to give yourself enough time to recuperate from all the work that you've done.
Yes. You know, that's something that I'm even learning with my coach, like, because I'm such a big advocate in creating a schedule, you know, and I don't know if you have a schedule, but I will create a schedule, and just when I thought it was perfect, I'll send it to him and be like, nope, like, this is unrealistic. Like, there's no way you can do this. And last time he put it this way. He's like, look, you have here, he's like, from 8:30 to 10, you're going to do this. And then from 10 to 11, you're going to do this. And then from 11 to 12, you're going to do this. And then from 12 to 2, you're going to do this. He's like, that's unrealistic. I'm like, why? Like, what? He's like, you need time breaks in between. I'm like, why? I'm sitting in a computer. I don't have to go anywhere. Like, it's literally going from one task to the other. He's like, well, look, you go to the gym a lot. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, all right. He's like, do you take breaks in between sets? I'm like, yeah. He's like, or do you just go like 10 reps here, 10 reps over there, 10 reps over there? Like, do you ever stop and take like a minute or two to breathe? And I'm like, yeah, no. He's like, it's the same way, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same way. Like, give yourself like even 10, 15 minutes between like tasks just to kind of rewind, unwind, you know, gather oxygen, watch something real quick or blah, blah, blah. And then schedule, boom, going back to it, you know? But it's such a discipline. It's such a discipline. Like, I ran away from working from home, bro. Like, as soon as they opened the office, I'm like, I got to go to the office because I feel more productive being at the office, you know?
You know, like, having that sort of schedule where it was flexible helped me a lot. And then what really helped me is this semester, I was like, okay, if I work for 1 hour straight, I get a 15-minute break. Yeah. Or if I work for 2, then it's a 30-minute to an hour break, you know? So it's like, you need intervals in between to rest, because one of the things that developed during this is I started to get migraines, you know? And then before I used to never get that, so then I looked it up and see what was causing this, and it was stress. And then, but then I got to the root of my stress, and it was, dude, you're trying to do 4 hours worth of work in one, you know? So it's just like more like trying to be more cautious of how I plan and how I pretty much to stop procrastinating.
So you're looking forward to next year?
I can't wait. And for those of you who are thinking about going in next year for the 2021 fall, the Cal State Society, like the whole group, Cal State, they've said that they are planning to go fully in person by fall 2021.
2021?
Yeah.
That's the plan?
That's the plan.
Thanks to the vaccine.
Yep. So I'm so excited.
Shout out to the vaccine, man. Honestly, shout out.
So excited.
You may be against it. That's fine. I'm going to get it. I just saw an article or something yesterday. Some general that said that they were going to start Monday.
Yeah.
Monday, they were going to take it to like a few hundred spots over the country. Tuesday, like 67 something spots. And then on Wednesday, like the rest of them.
Trying to get them out there,
Yeah, get them out there. I'm really proud of what they've done.
Heck yeah.
I'm so proud of it.
Vaccines take, like, with my girlfriend Vanessa.
Years.
Like, she once she comes on in the future, she'll go in deep for like
Vanessa, you got to come. You got to come. I already told her though. Yeah, because she works in biology.
Yeah, so like it takes years to develop a vaccine. To the fact that we're able to develop it in 1 year and is 95% effective. Yep. That is unheard of, dude. Like that. Yeah. That is, it's something to be proud of the generation that we have right now.
And it's crazy because I mean, I remember seeing a documentary about it. They say that the only reason we were able to do it so quickly is because they already had developed one for like H1 and N1 or something like that. So it was kind of already ready. So all they did is kind of tweak it. You know, but if it wasn't for that, like,
it would have taken forever.
Yeah, it would have taken forever. So, yeah, these are things that, and like, this is why I love my podcast, I guess, because I learn from people that freaking know, you know, at least like have an insight, or they're not completely ignorant to a specific subject. Yeah. I remember talking to my dad because at one point he was like, "Oh, the vaccine, you know, give this back." I'm like, "Look, talk to Vanessa. She's studying biology. Why don't you talk to her? Get her opinion." Yeah. You know, because that's like her trying to say, oh, like realtors, which you have every right up. You're entitled to your own opinion. Everything's, you know, but it's like her trying to deduct what I did wrong during a real estate transaction. Like, how would you know what I did wrong? Yeah. Or what if there was a malicious intent? Like, first, get to know what a regular transaction is like. Get to know what a realtor's duties is supposed to be. So then we can deduct, like, inform yourself right first of the steps of before you try to deduct any rational opinion and say, hey, you did wrong, or they're trying to poison us, or there was malicious intent behind it. To say that there's malicious intent behind it, you better have some sort of insight of education
on the field.
of the specific freaking field. Because if you're just saying, oh, I think they're just trying to poison, I think they're just trying to, and what do you know about it, bro? Like, do you know the beginning of, I'm probably going on a rant right now, but it's just, that's how people spread misinformation.
No, yeah.
You know? And I hate that, dude. I hate that. Like, inform yourself. I remember hearing somebody, they told me, if you don't have the ability to argue the other person's point of view, that you should even have an opinion.
You need to be able to understand both point of views.
Exactly.
Because that way you can fully understand whether you're for something or
absolutely
against it, you know?
Absolutely. Well, I'm looking forward to that, man. Obviously, there's going to be deaths. There's going to be things. I mean, it's part of every vaccine, but that's a whole nother conversation. Yeah. Let's close it out with this, brother. Any advice to anyone out there also trying to do the same thing? But I'm going to ask you to do two types of advice. One, advice to anybody that's trying to get into your specific field. And then two, any advice for people that are also kind of struggling with either stuttering or that social anxiety?
I'll start off first with the field. So if you're thinking about doing engineering, first things first, like we strongly advise, take your personality test. Mm-hmm. Take it. Learn more about yourself. Whether you're 15 or you're 35, get to know yourself before you want to pursue a career. Mm-hmm. And if you see in those results from the test that, you know, hey, this is what I want to do, mm-hmm. all right, then take it one step further. Take a class, mm-hmm. you know, or if at that point, look at YouTube, watch videos on the topic. Try to inform yourself more mm-hmm. to be able to make the right decision. Because one of the things that I wouldn't want to happen is you going into somewhere and paying $40,000 tuition mm-hmm. to then not liking it. Mm-hmm. So get to know yourself, get to know what you want to do, and if your goal is to become a mechanical engineer, mm-hmm. there's scholarships out there. Mm-hmm. There's grants out there that will help you. You know, mm-hmm. I've been blessed to where I don't have to worry about paying for school, but there's so many opportunities for others as well. Like mm-hmm. if you go to a Cal State, I could assure you you're not going to pay more than $3,000 per semester. Mm-hmm. You know, so there's different aspects that you can go in. So like if you truly want to pursue engineering, if that's what you have in mind, go in with an open heart, open mind. Mm-hmm. It's going to be hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Mm-hmm. It will be tough. You will cry.
Workload.
You will break down. You're going to have panic attacks sometimes. Like, it's going to be hard. But because it's hard, that's when you know that it's for you. Mm-hmm. Because it's challenging you to an aspect where you're going to improve yourself mm-hmm. and improve in the level that you are. So if you're thinking about going into it, do it. The worst that's going to happen is you don't like it. But the information that you gain through it is going to stay with you for the rest of your life, mm-hmm. you know?
You better learn to love math, right?
Learn to love it. Like, you know, I loved math, but I hated physics. Mm-hmm. But now it's like I learned to love physics. If you're going into engineering with an open heart, you're gonna learn to love it, mm-hmm. regardless. If that's what you truly want to do,
that matches with your character temperament.
Yes,
you have to know what type of character temperament you are. It's vital for your future.
Yes.
All right, and the second one.
So the second one, this one's a tough one.
The stuttering and the social anxiety. Any advice for people out there struggling with that, because you've come a long way?
I would say, you know, there's dark days, you know, there's days where you feel people don't understand what you're going through. Mm-hmm. They don't fully comprehend what's going on in your life or what battles you have. The one thing that I tell you is to reach out. For me, I could not reach out to my parents because mm-hmm. they wouldn't understand what I was going through just because of the language barrier mm-hmm. and because of the different lifestyles that we grew up. But there's friends you got, and if you don't, you know, there's what's it called? Medics to help you with, psychiatrists to help mm-hmm. you. There's different aids to go. Go if you're truly suffering through social anxiety, and speech therapy is not helping you and you're not able to do it yourself, go to school. If you're still in a high school and middle school, there's a psychiatrist on campus that will help you through it. You know,
Take advantage of the
take
avenues.
advantage of what you have, and just understand that no matter what you're going through, you're gonna get over. As long as you put your A game to it, you're gonna get over it, and you're gonna fight for what you believe in. You're gonna fight for who you truly are. For me, it was me understanding who I wanted to be and trying to shift my lifestyle. For you, it could be something completely different. But take advantage of the aid you have, and if you see that you don't have aid, I assure you, in one way or another, there's going to be a door that's going to open for you, and you're going to be able to get the help that you need. Just keep your doors open. I know it's hard, you know, especially from that background, from being scared to talk to people, but being able to talk to people is the only way to get over it. You know, like, trust me, I feel like I would get embarrassed ordering food, but it's the only way that you're going to be able to break that barrier, break that glass ceiling, and truly show who you are. But I assure you, once you break that glass ceiling, you're going to be at a level so advanced from others that the whole battle that you went through, that whole struggle that you survived, it's going to teach you to a way where your lifestyle is going to be ages ahead of your peers. So even though right now you might feel that you're stuck somewhere or that you're below someone, understand that in the future, in the next few years, that's going to help you to an extent to where you're just going to be able to persevere, you know?
I agree, man. I agree. You got to expose yourself out there.
Yeah.
You got to face, you know, it's funny because now thinking about like the so many people that I know, they struggle with social anxiety. They struggle with like talking to people that they don't know.
Yeah.
You know, and not many people may know, but I used to struggle with that 1000%. It may not seem like it now, but I used to struggle with it until I voluntarily exposed myself to my biggest fears.
Yeah.
You know, and I was able to face it, you know, and that's something that Dr. Jordan Peterson always says. Like, if you take a group of people and show them why it pays off to voluntarily them facing their fears, you know, it two things happen. It's not that they lose the fear. That won't happen.
Never.
You won't lose the fear because, ladies and gentlemen, the world is full of things for you to fear.
Yes.
If anything, once you expose yourself to your fears, you realize, hey, there's dangerous things out there, just like what I thought, or even worse. This is worse than what I thought, right? But it makes you braver.
It does.
It makes you braver. It doesn't get rid of your fear. That's not going to happen. It makes you braver. And I'm sure that you still, to this day, there's hints and little shadows and little feelings of insecurity, things that want to come up, ideas, right? Before you start talking to someone, before you do something, even before the podcast, I'm sure that your head, you know, was spinning with stuff, right? Did the fear go away? No, it just becomes you become braver. Yeah. You become braver. And once you're able to tackle this, then the next one is easier to tackle. And the next one is easier to tackle because you develop strength. You develop the ability of saying, wait a minute, if I voluntarily expose myself to this fear and I was able to conquer it, you know, then it gives you confidence. It gives you confidence for the next battle.
And that's the biggest thing about beating anxiety and just, you know, stuttering is, once you start to talk to people and once you start, you know, trying to battle it, you're going to build confidence in yourself.
Yep.
And once you do that, I'm telling you, the battle becomes a tad bit easier.
A tad bit, yeah.
As soon as you build your confidence, now instead of the anxiety fighting you when you're at a 10%, now it's fighting you when you're at 50%.
Yeah.
So now you have stuff to fight with now.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're able to build some sort of confidence, build it and fight it. It's going to get better. You take advantage of what you have next to you. And if you don't have an advantage, like, I'm always going to be the type of preach, but search for God if you believe in it, you know. But take your advantages and use them. Don't let them go to waste.
Yeah, I agree, man. Thank you so much, brother, for being here. Do you see how quickly time flies? We're like an hour and 50.
There you go.
Anything else you want to say before we wrap it up?
I just say, for those of you still struggling, for those of you in the dogfight, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Fight for it. Life's not easy. It's never going to be easy. You know, if this quote helps you, it helps me. We're never going to be perfect, but let's fight and let's try to aim to be.
Exactly. That's the journey. That's the journey that we're all on.
Yeah.
Well, all right, man. Congratulations on everything you're doing. Congratulations on the project. I know you just had a huge final project yesterday. You were able to pull through and you did it. And man, congratulations on you. I'm really proud of you. This is nobody's gonna be on here, dude, that I don't take pride in having a relationship with them. You know, because if I'm not able to recommend a friendship that I have to someone else, then I shouldn't have that friendship to begin with, you know? And everybody that's going to be in this podcast is someone that they play such a huge role in my life, you know? And I learn from so much. I not only do I learn, but I take pride in having to know them and any type of relationship that I have with them. And so congratulations, man. I'm really proud of you, what you're achieving. Such a young age. You're so focused. And yeah, dude, you know, kudos to you, man. And kudos to everything. And thank you so much for coming to this podcast.
Anytime.
All right, my man. See you guys on the next one.
Hey, so I want to thank everybody that stayed with us till the end. If you thought it was trash, hope you turned it off. But if it had value, please like, comment, subscribe, and share it out for me. Till the next one, bye-bye.